Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video here to continue my coverage of the Steam Winter Sale. And before I get into this video, I hope everybody had a good new year. Hopefully you're not too messed up. Hopefully you had a good time with your friends and family. And if nothing else, hopefully you got some time off from school or work or whatever the case may be. It feels like most people I've talked to are saying that they're going back to work on Monday, January the 5th, I believe that would be. But yeah, hopefully you guys got some time off. And if you're working, hopefully you're still having some time to enjoy some games, enjoying a time with your friends and family, and all that good stuff. But in this video, I am going to be highlighting some deals on overwhelmingly positive Steam games that are on sale and are under $10. So, a bit of a retread on a couple of these titles, but I tried to include some titles I didn't mention, and, you know, not everybody's watching every video, so it's always good to gush about some of these deals, because there's always new people. If I see comments of people picking up Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, you're damn right there are people picking up these games every time out. So with that being said, let's get right into it, and let's kick things off with Left 4 Dead 2. So, I went the route of not mentioning a lot of Valve titles, but why not mention a couple of them here? Left 4 Dead 2, obviously a game that everybody should own. I know that, you know, I could have the thought process that, oh, everybody already owns Left 4 Dead 2, but you know what? There's a crowd that's getting into PC gaming. They might be a little bit younger than me. Like, yeah, anybody around my age, I feel like, knows about Left 4 Dead 2 and would own it, but I was talking to somebody recently, and they were 22 years old, and it was wild to me when they were talking about the games and what games brought them into gaming, and they mentioned how Assassin's Creed Origins was the first real single-player game that they played, and that's just mind-blowing to me. But then when you think about it, if this person is 22 in 2025, they were, what, 17 when Assassin's Creed Origins came out? So that kind of tracks. It's kind of hard to think about time like that, but yeah, there is this younger audience that probably has never heard of Left 4 Dead 2 or you know, hasn't played it. It's an incredible co-op title, and if you have a group of buddies to play with, it's incredibly replayable, and I think it's very much worthwhile to go through. Obviously, the visuals aren't going to blow you away or anything like that, but the community is still super active. The modding scene is wild. I mean, you look at the community tab of this game, there's still 35,000 people playing this game right now concurrently. Like, it's still a timeless classic, and if you've got a group of friends to play with, I think it's a great time, but I would recommend, again, have a squad, and the last I played Left 4 Dead 2 was probably, you know, 2 or so years ago, and we had a great time, and I had a group of people playing to play with, so I did have an enjoyable experience that way, but $1.99 on that is great. Speaking of co-op titles, Castle Crashers is another big one that's 90% off for $1.49. Again, this is a game that I would think most people would own by now, but it's a game that came out in 2012, and it was big back then, but nowadays, you know, there probably is an audience that hasn't checked this game out, and it's a great time. I know that some people like Castle Crashers from a single-player perspective as well, but I really think this game is so much fun when you're talking about the cooperative play. I think the cooperative play is such a great time, and if you have a squad to play this as well with, you're gonna have a great time with it. The art style is just timeless. I feel like it's still a charming game, and I would definitely recommend it. $1.49. Can't beat that. Great deal there. Highly recommended. And they put out some DLC for this game last year, man, the Painter Boss Paradise DLC, and I think that's included in the complete bundle, so you can check that out as well. Slay the Spire, 90% off for $2.49. I mean, this is one of the incredible standout deals, and how about this? This is such a good deal that when this deal went live on the winter sale, Slay the Spire broke its concurrent Steam player count of 57,000 concurrent players, and you're seeing that a lot. I know it's not that big of a hot take being like, brothers, put your games on cheaper and people will check them out, but yeah, like, do that. Slay the Spire is 7 years old, and at this point, you know, Slay the Spire 2 is coming out. Use a heavy discount on Slay the Spire to, A, make some money, but also as a promotional vehicle. Like, that makes so much sense to me, and they did it with Slay the Spire, and they literally broke a concurrent player count for it. Like, more publishers need to do that, and putting these games at bigger discounts. I'm looking at you, Square Enix, with some of your game prices. Slay the Spire, though, I 57,000 concurrent players on that, and it's a great game. I played it at the tail end. I got it at the tail end of its early access period because I saw the Steam reception, and I was like, you know what? I have a interest in card games. I played card games growing up, and it just sounded interesting to me. I didn't really know how it would work in the idea of a fusion of a card game and a roguelike, but it turned out to be a really well done game where both elements of that style, a card game and a roguelike, blended together to add a layer of strategy that I wouldn't even comprehend when you just describe the game to me, but it's really well done. It's an incredibly addicting game, and initially when you play the game, you think it's like kind of simple, and then as you progress through your run, you're like, wait a second, there's actually a decision-making process here and being selective with what cards you take in, how you build your deck, which is what you would do in a card game, but adding it in a roguelike complements the strategy as well. I just thought it was a great fusion. I don't know if there was a game before Slay the Spire that did this style of roguelike deck builder, but this was the first one, and now there's more games coming out that are like this, but I thought Slay the Spire was an incredibly well done game. 249 on that is great. Next up, we have Dishonored, 75% off for $249. I've been talking about Dishonored a little bit more because this is the period every year where I have an opportunity, because there's not a lot of games coming out, to replay some games that I've been wanting to replay or play some older titles. Dishonored is a game that I played literally when it came out. I had a physical copy that I bought from Target, where I believe the box just included a Steam code. But nonetheless, I'm dating myself a little bit. But I wanted to go back and play through this game, and man, much like how I replayed Deus Ex Human Revolution relatively recently, like a year and a half ago, sometimes when you go back and you replay these games, you appreciate these games even more, and Dishonored, once again, I totally felt that. The level design in this game is so well done in that these aren't the biggest levels in the world, but it was crafted with so much attention to detail where the maneuverability in this game is so well done, and if you can pinpoint where to jump to, you can play this game in a variety of different ways. I do believe the methodical, stealthy, slower-paced approach is the better way to play the game. That is also where you get the canon narrative route. However, in terms of going the chaotic route and utilizing a lot of the insane powers that you get in this game, that adds another layer in how you can experience the game, and either way you go, you're gonna have a pretty good time. Although, as far as narrative execution, I do believe, again, the rewarding route is to play the silent, stealthy approach, but if you want to play that way the first time through and then go the chaotic route after that, I think that's a worthwhile way to play the game. It's not super lengthy. This is a game you can beat in like 8 hours, but sometimes that's exactly what you need, man, and you can get the definitive edition for $4.99. You get all the DLC there as well, and the DLC is pretty good. It centers around Dodd, one of the notable characters in Dishonored, a really well-liked character, but yeah, had a great time with it. I'm on the last piece of DLC now for the game in my replay. I'm also replaying Elden Ring right now, so there's a couple of replays that I'm going through right now, but yeah, Dishonored is one that, a little bit older, but man, this is one of those games that I think over the years, when people go back and play this game over and over again, they'll appreciate it even more, because obviously I've talked incredibly highly about this game for a long time, but going back and replaying this game makes me appreciate it a lot more. But $249 for the base game, $4.99 for the definitive edition. Again, I would recommend the definitive edition. And then, oh boy, would you look at that, Sleeping Dogs definitive edition. How'd you get in here? 85% off for $2.99. Sleeping Dogs is awesome. I talk about this game ad nauseum. If every time I talk about this game, even one person picks it up, job well done by me. This game is tremendous. An open world action title with an awesome soundtrack, a focus on its hand-to-hand combat, a gritty crime narrative as well, and a great main character. $2.99. Let's blitz through it. You guys have heard me talk about that enough, but you should check it out. Another Valve title, Portal 2, 80% off for $1.99. I am not into puzzle games. They are not my go-to titles, but Portal 2, you can't help but play through this game and appreciate it from a design standpoint, and the puzzles are incredibly creatively well done. However, they never really feel overwhelmingly confusing, and when you do figure it out, there is a sense of reward to this game. I haven't played Portal 2 in quite a while, but you know, it's one of those timeless puzzle titles that I feel like you could go back and play, and it's another one of those games that Portal as a franchise, like Half-Life has built that kind of allure to it, that it's this mythical game, and Half-Life 3 is the mythical beast that everybody wants to get at some point, and everybody wants that game. Portal doesn't necessarily have that, where it's become this absolutely iconic franchise. But Portal 2, you should go back and play the game if you never have. I assume, again, much like Left 4 Dead 2, most of you guys own it, but for $1.99, a great deal. And I remember this game came out the week of, I was playing games on PlayStation 3 a lot at that point, the week that the PSN crashed, and it was Portal 2, Mortal Kombat 9, and SOCOM 4 all came out in the same week, and all of those games had some level of online support, and yeah, PSN went down. And shout out to the PS3 version of Portal 2, how Valve released it on that. You got a Steam copy as well for free. But yeah, now I'm going on a tangent of $1.99 on that. Next up, Hollow Knight 50% off for $7.49. Obviously, Hollow Knight Silksong just came out, one of the biggest games of the year, but a lot of you guys haven't gone back and played Hollow Knight. While it's not my cup of tea as far as a super challenging Metroidvania-esque title like this, I mean, I like Metroidvanias. Hollow Knight navigationally sometimes does get a little bit confusing, but you guys can figure it out. It's got a great art style, and I do want to go back and finish up Hollow Knight so I can go and play Silksong as well. Silksong's one of the major titles of 2025 that, you know, I played damn near every big title. Silksong is one of those games that until I really get all the way through Hollow Knight and do all of that, I don't really want to jump into Silksong, but yeah, that's like the one title that I do want to get to at some point, but I gotta circle back to Hollow Knight at some point as well. Next up, we've got The Wolf Among Us, 60% off for $5.99. Incredible game. I am still waiting for that Season 2, which I am starting to lose hope for, but man, Wolf Among Us is an outstanding game, and for $5.99, I think it's a great pickup. It's a great narrative-driven title with a fantastic main character, and I always say, Walking Dead Season 1 and Wolf Among Us 1A, 1B for the best Telltale games of all time. And speaking of Walking Dead, the Telltale Definitive Series is 90% off for $4.99. This includes the whole gamut of Walking Dead titles. You get Seasons 1 through 4, 400 Days, and Michonne the miniseries. Walking Dead does have the unfortunate reality that they peaked with Season 1 and Season 2. Really, Season 1. Season 1 is incredible, and the subsequent seasons are really good, but Season 1 just set such a high bar, and I kind of feel that way for the Walking Dead television series as well. I know some people have opinions on, you know, which season was the best of I thought Walking Dead's, like, the show, its first season was incredible, and Seasons 2 and 3 were really good as well, and then I feel like it kind of started faltering, and I just think when they introduced Negan, Walking Dead was kind of cooked, but nonetheless, the Definitive Series is great, and I highly recommend it. $4.99 for all this content is just insane, but again, with Wolf Among Us and Walking Dead, just know what you're getting yourself into. Very narrative-heavy game, so keep that in mind. Undertale is 75% off for $2.49. One of those RPGs that I don't think it's going to be for everyone given its old style, but it's one game that I absolutely recommend everyone to try out. I think a lot of people will end up really enjoying it, and thematically, it's a little bit of a dark game to say the least, but a really well done game. Deltarune obviously recently came out as well, but go back and play Undertale for $2.49. Excellent deal there. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, 90% off for $3.99. Complete edition is $9.99. There is some rumbling about a DLC potentially coming out in May to set the stage for Witcher 4. I feel like if they do Witcher 3 DLC, the best way to do the DLC is figuring out a way to nerf Ciri, because Ciri is going to be the main character of Witcher 4, but obviously they got to nerf her, and I've already seen all the ideas on how you nerf Ciri, and I get it, just explain that in the DLC. I feel like that's the best way to set the stage for Witcher 4, so we get that piece of the puzzle kind of definitively answered, and I think that makes a lot of sense, but $3.99 for Witcher 3, that's great, but you buy the complete edition with the DLC. The DLC is absolutely outstanding. To the Moon, 80% off for $1.99, another heavily narrative-driven title with an emotionally gripping narrative. This is one of those games that I remember when it came out, it got a lot of attention, but it's an older one, came out in 2011, but one of the earlier, like, heavily narrative-driven titles that was, like, very much story-first, and people ended up enjoying and being moved by quite a lot. $1.99 on that. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is $7.99. The gold edition is $10.04, so a little bit over $10, but I would recommend getting that. You can also get the Village bundle with Resident Evil 7 and get the gold editions of both of those for $20. Resident Evil 7 is awesome. It really brought Resident Evil back to the forefront in a lot of ways after Resident Evil 6 was a little mid, and now Resident Evil, man, how big of a way are we back with Resident Evil? But I highly recommend Biohazard. It's a super, super creepy game, but that's kind of what you want out of a horror game like this. It's really well well done. Visually, it still looks great. And I mean, you know, as far as visuals go, when you're talking about games that came out in 2016, 2017, yeah, they all still look really, really good. And now you can run them very easily. So definitely $7.99 on that, great deal. Detroit Become Human, 90% off for $3.99 is an incredible deal. This is another one of those deals that really blew people away, with that deal being one of the deep discounts. But an incredible narrative-driven title that I think, given the climate of the world right now, it will resonate with people even more. This androids being at the center of the story, I think that's something people can appreciate even more and get more immersed into, so to speak. And I always say, with Quantic Dream titles and narrative-driven games, don't look up a guide. A big aspect of these games is the consequence, and if you look up a guide, you kind of mitigate that aspect of the game. But nonetheless, you do what you want to do. $3.99 on this game is a bargain, and I highly recommend it. Another narrative-driven title here, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, 67% off for $9.89. One of the most iconic visual novel franchises of all time. You know, it's become a meme. It's become one of the standout characters. But again, a lot of people don't actually play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. A lot of people know the memes, objection, and all that, but you should play these games because they're really well done. The mystery in these games are very well done. It has a bit of comedy, but overall the narrative comes together quite nicely in all of these games, and they've released a lot of other collections and new titles, so check that out. And then lastly, how about a game south of $1? Super Hexagon is 75% off for 74 cents. An incredibly addicting game that I think people can enjoy. I spent like way too much time on this game back when it was on sale, like years ago. I want to say I bought it summer sale of 2013 or one of the sales. I probably paid like $1.50 on it, but yeah, it's very addicting. You can even get a 2-pack for $1.24 if you want to gift it to a friend. But a fun time, good soundtrack, minimalistic title, but fun nonetheless. If you want a game to kill some time with while you listen to a podcast, I feel like it's pretty enjoyable. But like I said, you don't have to listen to a podcast. The soundtrack itself is quite solid. But that'll do it for me. Again, a lot of great game deals available right now. Links to all of these will be in the description box below. I hope you guys have enjoyed my coverage of the winter sale. I'll probably do a couple more videos. You know, these lights ain't gonna keep them on themselves these days. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Happy New Year to all of you, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.